Looks like we're watching. Was Hitler far right or far left? What do you think? Hmm. It seems like the dictionaries and all of the historical references want to say that he was far right, but from my understanding, the Nazi Party stands for the National Socialist Workers' Party, which would make that left leaning, right? But does it really matter what side of the spectrum or what political party a dictator is in? It doesn't matter.
Your perspective on whether you think Hitler was far right or was actually a far left ideologue. Okay, thank you for your time. I enjoy listening to Fireside Chat every week. All the best. Thank you. Hitler was uh, was left wing in that he believed in socialism. Remember, Nazism is National Socialism. Very few people know that, especially if you go to college where you don't learn much. But that is what Nazism stands for, National Socialism. In that sense, it was left wing, but it was not left wing in another sense. The left divided the world by class. That's the classic Marxist division of the world: class, the proletariat, and the oppressor, if you will. Whereas Hitler divided the world by race. Race is not a left wing or a right wing value.
Hmm.
It has become a left wing value in the last 25 years in the West. All of a sudden, race matters incredibly. The left has actually, in some ways, abandoned classic Marxist division by class and now made it by race. But race was neither left nor.
They really are the ones pushing the racial division. I don't. What? Where have you heard? I mean, I don't see people from the right or from the MAGA crowd pushing this racial division. Like I know right now there's the whole pushing back against the DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. But equity and equality are not the same thing. Equality is the same opportunity, where uh, equity is the same outcome. And you can't give everybody the same outcome when they're not putting in the same work, or they don't have the same skill. They may put in the same amount of work, but they don't have um, the same abilities as the other person that's putting in the same amount of work. People that work more efficiently, people that think before they act. So trying to give somebody else the benefit of the fruits of somebody else's labor, that's socialism, and that's why they're pushing equity.
Right until the race was neither left nor right until this moment. It is not a right wing value. I mean, I live among people on the right. None of them, not one person I know is a racist. They find the idea preposterous. So it's not right to say that he was right wing, and it's not right to say he was only left wing. He was partially left wing. And by the way, he hated capitalism, hated it. I just read a new biography of Hitler, and that was a major part of the biography, how much the man hated capitalism. That's also not taught in college.
So that was Hitler far right or far left from Prager U. Um, let's look up the definition of fascism. Fascism. And this is what everybody accuses, you of being a Nazi for being fascism. They say a system of government marked by centralization of authority under a dictator, a capitalist economy subject to stringent governmental controls, violent suppression of the opposition, and typically of belligerent nationalism and racism. This is why they've been trying to push everything that Trump says and say that it's racist. They mischaracterize everything he says. They use half truths and They twist what he says to make it sound like he was talking about everybody. Like when he talks about the people coming across the border, and he's talking, um, there are bad people coming across the border. Is everybody bad? No, but is he not allowed to point out that there's bad people coming across the border that aren't looking to for a better life for everybody? Like they're not looking to do good. They'll get ahead in any way they can, which includes robbing people, killing people, raping people. That's not about getting ahead. That's just taking what you want. Just that's criminalistic. Um, so yeah, the media is our enemy. The mainstream media is owned by the same corporations that have owned our politicians for decades. A political philosophy or movement based on or advocating such a system of government, oppressive, dictatorial control. Seeing right here, it says, let's see if you guys can see that. You guys can't see that. Let's see here. Over here on Wikipedia, it says fascism is a far right, authoritarian, ultra nationalistic political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition. That's what we've been complaining about. That's what conservatives and Republicans have been complaining about. Being suppressed, having their platforms taken away. They fake racism, the left or big tech government, they say that it was racist. Or when we were talking or just asking questions, wanting to ask questions about, the COVID and the jab, they would call it disinformation and remove your platform. A lot of people lost their source of income because they were deplatformed. That is forcible suppression of opposition. But they try to sum it all up and say they start off by saying it's a far right authoritarian, and now they want to say, oh, because you want to protect the right to life of an unborn fetus. It's a human being at conception, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you agree with abortion or not. It's a human being at conception. It's in the mother's body. It's not the mother's body. But this is how they're trying to push the whole authoritarian shit onto the far right. Like, we just want to be, you're not allowed to have a conversation about so much of this stuff. All right, well, that was the video, and I'm running on. So if you guys like what I said, you got any questions, or you got any suggestions for me, you want to talk shit, do it down in the comments. If you guys like my content, give me a like, give me a subscribe, hit me up in the comments, see if there's anything else that you want to get my opinion on. You can head over to Twitter/X and follow me on Intellectually Correct. Yeah, so comment, like, subscribe, share. Have a good one.